Next case on the docket, Elon Musk says entitlement spending has got to end. But look how he describes that.
I mean, the way it's important in entitlement spending, which is which is most of the federal spending is entitlements. That's like the big one to eliminate, because that's the sort of $500 billion, maybe $700 billion a year. That is also a mechanism by which the Democrats attract and retain illegal immigrants by essentially paying them to come here, and then turning them into voters.
So for you people who don't understand how civics work, let's clear this up. So immigrants, especially illegal immigrants, can't vote. Only U.S. citizens can vote. So this bring illegal immigrants over here to turn them into voters, that's a lie. It is another lie in the string of lies that they continue to tell you. So no Democrat can bring illegal immigrants over here to get on the voter rolls. If that was the case, think about this. You push this narrative that there are millions and millions of illegal immigrants here in America. And if there are millions and millions of illegal immigrants here, and the Democrats brought the illegal immigrants over so that they could turn them into voters, they should never lose elections. So make this make sense. This is your math. We're using my math. We're using your math under your pretense that it is, they brought them over here to be voters. Then why didn't they vote? Why? How they lose the election if they magically had brought all of these illegal immigrants over here to vote? Make it make sense. It don't make sense. And now let's deal with the entitlement piece of this conversation. See, the reason why he didn't dive deep into the entitlements is because he don't want to say those magic words of what the entitlement payment programs are. The two largest entitlement programs in the budget is Medicare and Social Security. Those are the two largest. So when he said that you have to cut entitlement programs, that's code for we have to cut Social Security and cut Medicare. That's what that is. So let's not play these semantics and play these little games and talk stupid to these people, Elon. That's what you're proposing, is to cut these people Medicare and cut their Social Security. See, this is my problem. You would rather cut these people's benefits and cut these entitlement programs. First of all, it's not entitlement. Everybody pays it. All these people, we pay into Social Security. So it's not an entitlement program. It's our money that we're getting back. It's our freaking money. So don't call it an entitlement. Ain't nobody entitled to that. We entitled to it because we put in on it. So we just want the return on our investment. That's all people want. So stop calling it that. Because that's not what it is. You make it seem like it's a handout. It ain't a handout. Hell, we handed it to you. And these people want their money back when it's time for them to get their money back, which they deserve. Y'all let to talk about everything except for the things you can do. How about you raise the cap on what everybody has to pay, the maximum year pay in? So real quick, little side note. So there's a cap. Once you make a certain amount per year, you don't have to pay into Social Security anymore for that year once you make that amount. And then don't quote me on this, but I think it's $175,000. So once you make $175,000 a year, you no longer have to pay in Social Security. Even if you make another 40 million, you don't have to pay anything else in the Social Security the rest of the year. That's asinine. That's crazy. If we just lower that amount, if we raise that amount to say 500,000, it would fully fund Social Security. That's no new taxes, no nothing. You just keep paying the tax you already been paying up until the 500 mark, as opposed to the 175,000. It would fully fund Social Security. But y'all ain't gonna do that. Because what you would rather do is take from the poor and give to the rich. Boy, y'all, but that's who y'all love. That's who y'all voted for. Enjoy. Next case. Next case on the docket, a waitress or somebody in the service industry, they put out this chart to define how you supposed to calculate your tip. So the good old days of just tipping 20% or 15% or 10%, I guess that's gone. So it says that, you know, like if your tab come up, the bill come up to be $107.53. You got to move the decimal place over, which makes it $10.75. You multiply that by 3, then you get $32.75. And then when you add that to the 107.53, you're supposed to get that number that they got. Well, first of all, I don't trust this chart for multiple reasons, but the first reason why I don't, because your math don't math. Because if you add 32.75 to 107.53, that's not the number you get. You get this 140.28 is what you get. That's the number you get. So I can't trust you to calculate my tip because you don't even know how to add. I don't know if you forgot to carry the 1 or what you forgot to do, but whatever you forgot to do is you forgot to ask me to give a damn about what you think I should tip. I'm going to tip you based upon the service that I have got. Now, sometimes that might be 10%. Sometimes it might be 20%. Sometimes it might be higher than that. It all depends on the service you gave me and what my pocket's looking like this particular time that I'm out. Now, you know, how you going to tell me if I can't afford to tip like this that don't come out? No, if you can't afford to accept a 10% tip, then you don't need to take this job. You need to find you a job that pay you a salary, something that's not contingent upon tips. Because if your service ain't where it needs to be, then guess what? Your tip ain't gonna be where it needs to be. And truth be told, customer service is at an all-time low. A lot of y'all is trash. I mean, horrible. The customer service is straight up garbage. You don't smile. You don't greet people. You don't know how to talk to people. You got an attitude when people ask you a question and you in the service industry. Man, y'all better stall me out. Listen, you gonna get whatever you give. So you give me horrible service, you're gonna get a horrible tip. You mess around and get this dollar if you want to. Next case. Next case on the docket. Vice President Trump put out this tweet talking about white South Africans are being discriminated against and they've been threatened and all of this stuff right here. And he want to offer them citizenship or pathway to citizenship in America. If you don't stop with this foolishness, they taking their farmlands and all this stuff, right? So we clear. This is what's happening.
Hey, lovely people, and particularly a quick word to my American friends who might be tempted to believe what Donald Trump is saying about South Africa, my home country, where I happen to be right now. Him and Elon Musk are racist twats who have no fucking idea what they're talking about. Because what they're doing is taking the word of a fringe racist group called AfriForum and other disaffected whites, disgruntled by the end of apartheid, feeling hard done by, and much like the Israelis, victimizing themselves when they are not victims at all. Bitching about how, you know, land redistribution is racist against whites. These are such ignorant provocateurs. And it's going to backfire on them. South Africans' majority, the black majority, and it's a multiracial, multi-tribal society now, only own a tiny proportion of the land versus the size of their population. And while white South Africans make up 7% of the population, more or less, they own about 70% of the decent land. And so the redistribution of land is to address past inequities. And the vast majority of South Africans agree and understand why that's happening and that it's a good thing. It's also under a very strict mechanism. Now, not everyone agrees, of course, with the mechanism, but the principle is what racists like Musk and Trump are railing against here on behalf of a bunch of assholes who equate equality with oppression, because for so many years, decades and decades of the apartheid era, they were the oppressor. And as we know, whenever the oppressor looks at something like equality, it suddenly becomes oppression of him.
See, so as you can see, they ain't taking nobody land that it shouldn't be taken from. Listen, apartheid just ended like in the 90s. So that means like if you 35 years old and you were born in South Africa, you would have experienced the apartheid. You would have been a part of it. See what I'm saying? That's how recently that was. At least segregation ended for us in the late 60s. So we like 50 years, 55, 56 years away from that. They not even 40 years away from apartheid. They about 30 years away. See what I'm saying? And so what they're trying to do now is mitigate. Remember what we were supposed to get after the Civil War, them 40 acres and a mule? Well, guess what South Africa is doing? They actually giving these people their 40 acres. That's what they actually doing. So white South Africans, get over it. And I'd have been to South Africa. I know y'all have damn monopolized all the best living areas and near the oceans and all of this stuff right here. Well, guess what? You finna unass all of that. All with like Cedric the Entertainer said, we say when black people show up and you sitting in their seat, come here right here. This both of them us, 4 and 5, 4 and 5. That's what South Africans do. Hey, right here, all this little farmland, right here. Yes, this ours. Wheat and corn, all that's us. Give us, bro. And it belonged to them. It's their country. Stop playing. Y'all came over here and took, man. Hey, man. And Cheetos Jesus, stay out of that. That ain't none of your business. You always see, Canada, turn them damn lights off. Next case.